Good. This is Dr. Rao. So in the evening today, I was away from town. I had to leave my daughter at the airport because she was visiting a friend of hers, and we had to drive all the way to Chicago. And we have come back. It took me some time. It's in the Mid Bay Airport. Anyway, it was a nice day. It's kind of hot for the for the summer, right? So, but I was posing a question this morning about, what is the key point or key thing around which we really orient our life? Have you oriented your life to be something or to achieve something or to enjoy something or to visit something like that, right? Everybody orients. So ancients kind of oriented towards finding themselves, turning inward, and then really discovering who they are, right? That was the essential thing about the ancients. So they said more like a Atmanubhava, right? Like they call it the Atman, we call it awareness, we call it consciousness. It could be anything. But um, I was listening to a discourse by somebody on this topic, and then they said, if you orient your life around that soul or Atman or real energy that is essential for all of us, that becomes something big deal, right? Versus if you say I'm going to um, enjoy my life and I'm going to have all the small joys, and then they may not last for a long time, right? They may be there and they may not be there after a while. So that kind of thing. So I was thinking on that line and said, yeah, when we were brought up, the emphasis was you got to live, we got to live well, and you got to achieve a position or property and all that, Uh, it's more like you got to work hard, you got to develop these talents, you make a living. That was the focus of it. So somehow you just build up your energies, everything around that kind of security, that kind of success and achievement that is around what everything was built, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but that was the case with a lot of people, what they did, right? And then also what the society was aiming for. But when we look at the ancients' life as a whole, they promoted how to be simple outwardly. Simple life, very, very simple life. And also, whatever you do with the nature, that's more like you're dealing like with your mother, and then you're going to revive her, you got to renew her, and you got to help her, grow with you and sustain with you, that kind of thing. But inwardly, they questioned everything, the existential questions. What is life? Who am I? Where did I come from? Where I'm going? What is the purpose of this human life? What are the inward happiness states? What are the tranquil states? So there are any number of things like that. What is consciousness? What is willpower? What is free will? That kind of thing. Okay. When they presented all this, that became real important for people to understand that this is why the human life. And that kind of wisdom had been sustained for millennia. So many people are really enamored by it, and I'm not talking about the masses. I'm talking about the intelligentsia. I'm talking about elite people. I'm talking about founders of America. I'm talking about major philosophers, psychologists, psychiatrists, physicians, or industrialists, people who are social reformers, and all of them enamored by the philosophy that was there and that is there to tap us, right? So, around what have you oriented your life? You know, there's something like a right or wrong, but it appealed to me when they put it in that perspective how valuable that kind of orientation is and how it could help a human being to evaluate inwardly and really reach the divinity, right? So that's why I thought I will present that with you, my friends, today, and see anybody has, interest in this kind of viewpoint and want to understand that better. That's why I thought I will talk about that. So come up and talk to me if you have any questions or any idea about this kind of thing, or have you ever looked at that kind of perspective or not? Okay, that way we can have a dialogue on that. I'm waiting for my other friends to show up. Usually they are showing up at 6:30 or so in the clubhouse and other places, but there are some three people on the wisdom. But I'll go on talking about this for a while. Uh, because when you look at it, my own small life, if you look at it, um, I was seventh child of a big family, but my mom kind of educated us, and then it was drilled into us that you develop your reading skills, and then you pass the exams, and then you score high, and you get good professional education. Luckily, I was in a town that had the same town had a medical college, so I wanted to be a doctor, and there was a big competition, like a 45,000 people for 150 seats for that year. And fortunately, and of course, after the real hard work, I got in through the entrance exam that they have. And then among the 45,000, I'm one of the 150 of that class, for that class, right? And then I kind of studied hard. Mostly we don't know anything except study. And then I kind of, completed my medical schooling and I became a doctor in India. And soon after that, I had an opportunity to come here. And I came here and accepted a residency position in geriatric medicine. And I was there for a couple of years. Then I moved to New York to complete my internal medicine. And then after that, I established my own practice and practiced for several decades, right? That was all there. So you could say that was a successful career, and then we kind of, enjoyed the associated, respect, degrees, and the wealth, and all that, right? But it was never satisfying in the sense, And then I did some masters in biomedical informatics, but that also was fun when it is being done, and it was really worthwhile. And at the age of 60 years, I got my masters. But then even that one was okay. But then when I turned to the ancient wisdom and really understood this purpose of human life is to turn inward and discover who we are. And then what it is inward means, what it is really touching that silent self or soul, and then being established in that, and then use our mind and body as tools. that became very, very peaceful, happiness, and tranquility and harmonization all rolled in one. That did not have the same thing with other things or wealth or anything like that. Okay, relationships and all. So there is something about what they were saying, right? Right, and there's something about turning inward and realizing this kind of joy and bliss without really getting any particular thing from outside. But it's like a discovery through knowledge, discovery from not knowing what it is, and to really go and experience firsthand who we are. Okay, so that's something that I wanted to talk about it. And I think there's somebody here promised if he wants to come up, I'll invite him. Uh, then let's see. Uh, there are people on the wisdom also. You can also come up if you want to, but that's okay too. So this uh, orientation towards inner inquiry, self inquiry, and then establishing yourself in that never ending, really purified consciousness. Once we intuitively feel and establish, and that is the orientation I think is meaningful for me. So it could be anything for you, but that's okay. For example, Eckhart Tolle wrote about this. He said there is a being and regaining the memory of being and embodying ourselves in that feeling realization, not thinking, but the feeling realization is like a enlightenment. I'm not saying we are enlightened, but what I'm saying, just turning and establishing ourselves and then having this stillness of thought, that itself very peaceful and very joyful and blissful too. So then we came to the understanding it is our mind that has all these problems. It is the mind, everything arises. So if you understand the mind and if you go beyond it, that itself is tranquil, because you don't have the restlessness or you don't have the dullness of the mind, but you are silently aware, awake, and you can study the mind by turning on itself, right? And that is what's called Raja Yoga, okay, where you can really see what is mind made up of. Is there a mind or only a bunch of thoughts and emotions, and then can you watch them, and then thereby watching, they slow down and they become one thought, where you can really focus on one thought and absorb in it or go beyond. Okay, so that kind of thing is there, but nowadays we are always outward. We are doing so many things with our intellect, which is not bad, but we are not allowing our selves to be rested and touch that inner silence, and then stalling the thought and all that, right? So that is something, not only people are getting very restless, and they resort to other things to really pacify their thought, or sometimes they are miserable with that and all that. That is there. But apart from that, people are not experiencing this blissful, joyful feeling that otherwise can have. Okay, so but this is a very significant thing in anybody's life, I think. So if you can orient your life towards inner awakening, like a Buddha called, or inner quest towards that ultimate, nirvana, whatever that is, that kind of thing is really something important. I think my friend Hakim is coming, so let me see what he has to say on wisdom. Hello. Good evening, Dr. Allen. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Let me turn off this air. Okay. I'm I'm all right. How are you today?
I am very good, Hakim. Good.
Do you think that someone who's constantly thinking about killing themselves, even though everything, so many things in their lives. I know you're not a psychiatrist, but even though many things in their lives,
that's we are seeing quite a lot of people around the world, Hakim. That is really tragic, no?
But do you think it's because people, in part, maybe are not being themselves?
Yeah. There is a kind of this thought turned negative, it kind of feeds on itself negatively and reinforces that hopelessness, helplessness, and that encourages that they don't have any alternative, especially teenagers. They have this explosion of emotions and all that, right? But it's basically negative thought much deeper inside, and without allowing you to see what is that blissful thing that can possible, and they never have the opportunity for that because they don't have the means for it. And also, if you make like you are worthless if you don't have this and that, that can be reinforced, and unfortunately people bury into their own network of negative thought, which deepens and becomes a suicide. But if you say only it's only thought, it's not. Like in Eckhart Tolle, he had around 27 years of age, very relevant what you're talking about, Hakim. He used to say, I want to kill myself all the time. He was a very depressed teenager and weighed to 27, I think, at that age. And suddenly he thought, who is that want to kill myself? Are there two cells in me? Or and then he picked that thought and they completely broke down, and the thought broke down, and then he saw something completely different the next day. So he didn't understand what it was. But then later on, he discussed with a lot of Buddhist scholars and everybody. Then he understood, okay, I have thoughts, but I am a conscious being. And once I ended up in the conscious being, I could see that it's just a thought, and they will be able to get rid of it. So he talked about it all the time.
What was his name again, Dr. Ron?
Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, Eckhart Tolle. Yes.
Yeah. He's the one with the word of now and earth and all that. Yeah. So
a new earth and the power of now.
Yeah. And he describes that what happened to him, how he come out of it, and later on, you see, he was always living after that in the now. Okay, he was not contemplating those things at all, because when he, for example, he's going to give a talk, he never plans everything, so he just goes to the auditorium, whatever, he waits for it, and then he doesn't have this persistent nagging thought about imagining, oh, how many people are going to be there, why am I going to be okay, and all. None of that chattering is there, because he's established himself in that conscious self, conscious being. That's what
what about somebody who has a lot of good things going on in their life?
Oh yeah, the same thing, but it could be positive, it could go, but then after a while they seem to be not enough. You want to more and more and more of it. But this is what I'm talking about is, it is kind of identify that thought is a positive or negative, and then usually we encourage the positive thought because the effects will be good for them and the society. But then for first-hand experience of themselves, achieving all those things may not mean something. That's what I started with when I probably I say I have seen everything that I had to see, and afterwards they all seem trivial. But when I ended up on this internal journey, everything seemed meaningful. So it doesn't mean that everybody has to be like that. Everybody has their own journey. But the question is, what is that you are orienting your life around which? So if you was brought up with a thought like you have to study, you have to get through this competitive exam, and then you'll get this life where you can make a bread, make your house, make your all those things, right? And then the ancient put all that as experiencing joy and pleasure differently, right? But then it's like you are really want to have this small pressures or synthetic pressures, and then after a while they seem like every human will, I want to learn more, or I want to have experience more, and they may go into drugs or whatever, or not, or they may travel, or they may write books and whatever, right? That's all fine. But then when you turn inward, as a human being, everybody has this inward richness, which Eckhart also was talking about, is something, if you can orient towards that, it is some people, they seem to be really touching that point, which is very, very blissful. That's why modern Western civilization actually is based on, I think, therefore I am. Eckhart Tolle himself said that, he stopped one step short. He should have waited and then said, I am conscious, therefore I am. That consciousness, that exploration, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. So that was Hakim, one of our friends on the wisdom. And you don't have to agree with me and participate in this discussion as this is the ultimate. No, you got to really just give it a reflection, give it why thousands of years of ancient culture was uh, oriented around that inner diamond, they kind of explained themselves. They kind of wrote or talked most of the time. The real, genuine people who were enlightened, who were really uh, sthita pragnas, that means established in that wisdom, they really talk to people close to them, and those people wrote about what are called bhashyas, that means summaries of those, so it was not a style of writing books by themselves, but then they talked about it. Other people kind of listened to those talks and then produced them. And then now, after Buddha, after so many generations of enlightened people, it became rather easier than it was for them, because their journey was very arduous, right? Because this journey is like a first-hand experience. It's not like a science where we can experiment some outward thing and test a theory, come to a conclusion, and then develop some tools out of it. That is all fantastic. That's a good as a human being. But what about inner world? That's what I'm talking about. What are the happinesses that are there? What are the deep conditions where you can really have samadhi, which is complete silence of the thought, and then touching the deeper realm of blissfulness or happiness. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's a question of just to worth considering and looking at it. Not that you have to look at it exactly the same way, but just questioning our way of living, our way of all the violence, all the things that are going around the world, that kind of thing. Excuse me. So that's what I was bringing to the discussion here. You see, this series, as I said before, it is about being yourself, your being itself. So that is, how can you be your being? So if you can understand that being is beyond body and mind complex, and it is that conscious energy, conscious self, soul, consciousness, whatever we call it, awareness, we call it as these days. If that is using mind and body as instruments, and then your inflictions of the body and the mind handled much better. Okay, and first of all, your mind becomes not restless, not dull, but settled in that silence. settled in that non-movement where that is very healthy for you. You know, it's not just whenever you're only yourself, but when you encounter pain and pleasure in life, in relationship, can you be stoic? Can you be really silent in those circumstances? You know, that is what the enlightened people displayed and showed us what is the inner forbearing of pain and pleasure in life. Okay, so I have a great respect for them because they are beyond all this theoretical, people are people who have built up systems based on thought, thinking that we are only having thought, and that is not really working, is it? You know, our mental health has worsened, and the people who are not capable of handling life as it presents. If the difficulties come, they have this tremendous courage and tremendous equanimity to handle that, right? So these people, the ancient people, what I was enamored was they said, I don't think the happiness out there. They said the happiness is within us, each human being. We just have to travel there and tap it and know it by our intuition, our intuitive awareness, even. You know, so then they really discovered, okay, this is the problem of the mind. If I allow the mind to go wherever, if I allow the senses to go wherever, then I will end up in a lot of this kind of diseases, this kind of problems. But then I can sit still and I can meditate, I can go deeper into myself and touch that inner silence which is there, and then that is very, very healthy for anyone. So they lasted long, they lived well, they lived longer, and they lived in joy. They were not desperate. Like now, kids are studying, they can focus and they can study the subject that they have to, but they have a lot of inner turmoil, anxiety going on, desperation going on, and that's a fact that's going on. Like Hakim mentioned, so many suicides increasing. Why? So we spend so much time on outward senses, which is good, which will make our life better. I'm not denying that because I'm basically come from the scientific background too. But what about our inner selves? Are we really getting along with each other? Are we killing each other? Are we having these psychological problems? Yeah, a lot of them, right? So if you look at that way, I think there's valid comment to make about their inner states and what they achieved and what they showed. So this is not like a physical travel, or this is not like a something you produce by writing. This is about knowing about these things and going away from your ignorance to knowledge. That is the path. You know, when you have that path, then you travel from ignorance to uh, knowledge. You know, they said, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. That means tamas means ignorance or not knowing or stupidity, whatever, to Jyotirgamaya. Jyoti means light towards the knowledge. So this one part of yoga is called Gnana Yoga. Gnana means knowledge. That is knowledge yoga. No? For that, you have to have a good body, healthy body, and able to sit down and then close your eyes to the world and then go into deeper. That's one way. The other way is just to examine the world, know what it is, and then really questioning it and then finding out what is the truth. That is where it's the first hand experience. If you follow somebody, if you say somebody, that may not be the first hand experience. You may learn it and may want to repeat it, but eventually it has to be individual inner exploration by themselves. not according to a system or anything. And then for that, this outward activity should be simpler. Thought is knowing its place, stays there when it is used. Otherwise, you are going after whatever the thoughts come, whatever they lead to. That is the problem. And that is happening now. Information overload, so many things. People think, and overthinking, having this brain fog or stress and burnout. I see all these things, right? And people may have money, will have degrees and so many things outwardly, but they are not happy within themselves. They're desperation sometimes, and that's why we talked about so many examples. Nobel laureates too, very big artists, people who won Oscars also, they were not happy and all. So things and uh, thoughts, they don't bring the happiness. On the other hand, if you develop like a dispassion for things and then have a very tranquil, enriching mind that is silent, then you touch that joyful blissfulness within you. That you have to experiment by yourself. You have to investigate first-hand experience, right? You by yourself too. So this is all described, and also I began to write about this. Then I kind of came upon like, what are the things that I learned of significance that could be helpful to the people around me, or to my patients, or to my family, and all of that. Then I came up with eventually, this is the highest, right? Knowing the inward life, understanding what they meant, and then experiencing it. That means you listen, and then you think about it, and then you allow that to happen in your life and see what it is. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. These are the three Sanskrit terms for that: listening, reflecting on that, questioning on it, accepting it as a truth ultimately, and then you kind of allow it to happen. Okay. Hi, Angela.
Hi, you still on? I see you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm here on LinkedIn too. Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn also, Angela. Yeah. Same,
So,
same.
what's going on today?
Today, I'm kind of presenting the deeper question about what you have oriented your life around. So I was telling about the inner quest and discovering that inner diamond within all of us. If you orient your life towards that, like the ancient kind of showed, that is something very valuable, I think. But everybody can have their own way to look at these things. But that is what I was presenting with. Have you heard anything on the LinkedIn?
No, I cut it when I first cut it on. I said good day, and then I started doing something else, and I didn't stay on long. I think that's when you first opened the room.
Yeah.
And nobody was there but you.
Yeah.
So when I just charged my phone, I see you still up here, so I just came in.
Yeah, I open on all the.
Promise down there, yeah.
Yeah, I open all the channels usually. I open on the Clubhouse here. At the same time, I'm on the Wisdom, and also I'm on the Restream, where today I'm on 3 channels: LinkedIn, Twitter,
and what time is these 3 channels?
Every day it's 6 o'clock Central.
6? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, I think nobody joins initially, but then eventually the people join. That's okay. But then if they are interested, they will come on time. That's okay. But the recording is there, so people can listen to what I talked about. So this is very unusual for a lot of people, but then they know what I'm talking about. They know in their hearts of hearts that the things and outer everything may be transient pleasure, but afterwards they're digging deep into themselves of what is life, what am I, where I come from, all those existential issues, right? So when they go there, then they understand what I'm talking about, and then some people may have already felt that and they know what it is, right? So it's not we have to judge anybody, but it's up to them, their journey, right? But what I am saying is, this was the most meaningful thing around which I kind of built everything of my life, So then the love comes from that, peace comes from that, where you will be peaceful even though world is not peaceful, And also you understand why there is so many divisions, why there is so much of strife, mental illness, and all that. So there's so many things that are connected with this inward journey. I think people take it through the religion, to the philosophy, to the psychology, whatever. But then there are ways where you can be independent, you can be alone, and you can do that first-hand experience by yourself. So everybody is very enamored about what kind of things I can do with artificial intelligence. Yeah, all those things can be done much faster. You will accumulate more things outwardly, but to be happy and peaceful and joyful within, you got to go with it. That's what I'm saying. What do you say, Angela?
I'm gonna go back and hear the recording. It is true. Happiness happens.
Yeah.
You got to remove a lot of things. Happiness also has to do with some of the commandments that you make to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, the investigation has to be first person, by themselves. It cannot be given to anybody by anybody. That's what I came to understand. And when I saw them, they were not pursuing happiness, but they found the happiness and then they came to serve the world. That was my thing. So if you orient your life around that, you will be living a life, but then you don't go and tell other people if you are not doing, you are bad people. No, you understand why they are there, what is the journey, but let them ease into it on their own. You see, it's like a compassionate, empathetic understanding in the form of love and equanimity with everybody that comes through. There's a path to the peace, real peace. So that is what I was talking about.
That was a great question. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. If you listen to from the beginning, it started around 6 o'clock. It's on. I think it may have started a little bit later in the clubhouse because I was arranging the other channels. But I began to start the moment I opened Wisdom app and other on the registry. But then I went to airport and came back after leaving my daughter for her friend's visit. So it could have took a little bit later than what I wanted. But around 6:10 or so from there, I think I kind of recorded on the clubhouse also. But this is a question I have been posing for several months. But people are interested or not depends on them, right? So my job is to air out what my opinion is. But beyond that, all this artificial intelligence tools and all, I am also involved in that. But they are making me really free up my time for the things that I normally do. I write articles, I write books, I write all those things, right? That has become very easy now with the help of this ChatGPT. I write them, but then I give the ideas, they write in a better English or better composition. Then I edit them. I kind of change them, and then I put in my own thing. But then all in all, the one which used to take 3-4 hours, now I'm doing it in maybe 15 minutes. So that's a huge time saving for me. And then what I do when I save the time, I kind of use that for my inner journey and being blissful and happy and peaceful. So that's why I love the new technology. And that's why I combine modern science and also ancient wisdom to fulfill our lives. That's the thing I took my companies on that, my BFL, where I kind of, today, I kind of sat down in the car, I was talking with my wife, and I said, I should really tabulate or put in a sequence of the number of ways this thing has helped me personally and also opened my perspective of the world and everything, and that those things have significance in the sense they are useful for several people. I can serve them with those things, like I talk about, I'm a physician, but I talk about wellness. I don't talk about just if you have diabetes, I will talk to you about it. But if you have not diabetes, then I'll tell you don't get diabetes. These are things you can do. That's the wellness I'm talking about. Then I talked about if you are burned out because you are a doctor who is working a lot and then there's so much going on, I try to help them to see through all of that, where the burnout is coming, where you can be in charge of your burnout and really cure yourself, like kind of. So that I'm enrolled in that. So like a number of things like that, I wrote down education, climate, so many things I participate in. I bring this perspective is really oriented towards soul connection, not body or mind. Make sense, Angela?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It makes good sense.
Yeah. So that is what I was going to write my next article that will be in the LinkedIn and other places too, where I will enumerate all these things I think I'm doing are going to be helpful to my colleagues, to my fellow human beings, and all that. So that is the next project I have. I'm going to work on that. So.
Yeah, I was just putting it in the chat. And this room, how long does this room stay open, or is no time right now?
Well, usually I will be here 6 to 7, but then I've been here last night 2.5 hours before. Like
Okay, that's not bad.
It's going longer. But my thing is, if somebody comes and asks us questions, then I'll stay on and answer them. And sometimes it takes a longer time. A lot of people are interested in this, but they come sometimes, they don't come sometimes. It's basically they want to live according to what is important to them. That's fine. But this is important for me. That's why I come and present that. And usually a lot of people listen after I finish my talk too, and then they have those questions, or they have the comments, and then we meet on other areas too. So that is there. Not many, but some. But for me, I don't care about the numbers. I care about the quality of talk. I don't want to conduct just to propagate something that maybe at the end of it is not meaningful for me. So I see these hundreds of people gathering together. See, it's like this. If you
I
don't,
know what you're saying too, because I just want to know if I could be able to keep up with the time. So when I want to come in the room, I know when it's here.
Every day I come on time, 6 o'clock, maybe.
Okay.
But then most people join me later. That's okay too. But I know.
And I interrupt you, so go ahead. You were telling me about it doesn't matter about the number, which is true. Yeah. The quality. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in a social audio like that, they want to be successful just to, get people and then get whatever they do with them. But my thing is, I have a perspective. I kind of made my life richer that way. I'm presenting to other people to consider, if they want to consider, or if they say it's a hogwash, that's fine too. That's their right. So, like yesterday, somebody came and then she was talking not from her deeper self, but she's talking from her mind. But she would not accept that. So what can we do about that? But she has to see by herself what is the reality for her. That kind of. So it's okay. She can have that perspective, but then I don't see just a limited mind only us. We are much deeper than mind and body. Many people are stuck in the body consciousness or mind consciousness, and they really don't go into the pure consciousness, which really animates our body and mind. So once you have that separation, you are in the deep bliss. That's what it is. So somebody else is here too. If he wants to come and talk to us, we'll see.
Oh, that's close down there. Hello.
Yeah. Sometimes days will be like this, only few people come. But I speak anyway, and then I will end at my own time, say 7 o'clock. But then, right at the 7 o'clock, when we're about to close, people may come and they may prolong the discussion. That's also okay too. I put this in the evening, Angela, because during the day I can do all my work and everything and whatever things I have to do. And then in the evening, it's nice to sit down and read. If there's some program with the family, probably I will postpone that. Otherwise, this 6 to 7, right after I see the news from 5 to 6, is very ideal for me. And sometimes it goes a couple of hours behind. That's okay, but not all the time. So how are you? What is going on with you?
I'm good. I'm about to make me some oatmeal.
Oatmeal, okay. That's a good food. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't want to. I had I'm getting a little bit tired right now.
I have oatmeal in the morning, Angela. You have it in the evening?
I want it in the evening. I'm gonna eat it with some walnuts.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, some walnuts and some flax seeds.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually eat with.
I eat it in the morning too, but I didn't really. I wanted that now. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want a lot right now, and I would have to wait almost 2 hours if I did the beans now.
Yeah.
So the oatmeal was kind of good.
Yeah, very good.
Right now.
Very good. But I eat it in the morning all the time because I usually eat it with banana, some cashews, and.
Well, I ate up all the bananas yesterday. So I gotta get some more tomorrow. Yeah. But I can eat oatmeal any time of the day.
Yeah, oatmeal is a very good food because it has more fiber, more protein in it, and it digests slowly. That's why you release very nice food. Yeah.
I had a handful of tamarind. I just finished eating almost a whole jar of those. I should have saved them and put some in there for the sweetness. Yeah,
the tamarind is in the Indian curries. My wife puts it in all the time. That's a standard thing, I think. And it
gives. Say that again.
Tamarind. They put it in the curries.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it for the dip too.
Yeah, yeah. So
when they make in the fritters.
Yeah. I think this is standard in Indian dishes. All these. Food products.
I usually get it when I'm over here at the Indian vegan store. I usually get them for I actually asked for 2 extra ones. That and the cucumber the cucumber sauce. I love that.
Yeah, I know that's a staple I have. Nuts, fresh vegetables, fruits, and the whole grains like oatmeal or brown rice, not much of rice, but some rice. All those things are very good for us.
I had some nuts earlier. I had some pecans and some walnuts. But I wanted to eat these Brazil nuts, but I can't find what I did with the nut crackers. And those are not that easy to crack. And I don't want to break anything trying to crack those.
I see.
The other ones you can squeeze in your hand. You can squeeze 2 together and crack those open. But the Brazilian nuts, there's nothing to play with.
I see. Okay. Walnuts I know, but I didn't know what is the Brazilian nuts.
Huh?
I know walnuts, but I don't know what you are talking about. Brazilian nuts or whatever you're saying.
You know the Brazil nuts? Those are very good too. You usually find them out around December or something like that. But I buy so many bags when they come around to those holidays because certain stores don't have them. Unless it's, certain holidays, you don't find them. And they're very good. They're really oily, very oily.
Yeah. The nutrition aspect is important in this effort I was talking about. What it is vital energy that is coming from real, organically grown, and this kind of rich foods we're talking about, that doesn't break very quickly, and that really provides that vital energy through which you can focus your mind and be on one thing, you know. But if you don't have the vital energy, you get irritated easily, you get anxious easily, you get depressed easily. So nutrition is also very important to maintain this equanimity I'm talking about. I think
that's why I said also oatmeal wouldn't be that bad to have something, like that this time of the night.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about a heavy load.
Yes.
I really didn't eat that much earlier. I did a lot of nuts.
Yeah. But some people, they get used to the heavy load, like a big lump of rice or wheat or anything like that. They can't sleep unless they eat like that. That
I don't eat meat.
Yeah, a lot of people get used to that, and then they're hooked on the taste and all that, and they cannot sleep unless they have that heavy load hit the stomach. So that's the problem.
I'm going to do the oatmeal, and I probably not problem. I got a couple of sweet potatoes and yams. I probably make me a couple of slices of those and use it like a snack because I eat those like if you was eating carrots.
Yeah.
They're nice snack.
Well, anyway, I don't know whether this question reached many people. There are 21 people on the wisdom. If anybody has questions, they want to talk about this, they can come up and then we can continue the discussion. Otherwise, we will close, Angela, because I don't want to just talk about the same thing again and again unless somebody has questions about that. That way we can kind of continue. What I had to say was there right in the first 15 minutes. Basically, what I'm saying is you are not just the limited body, limited mind, but you are that is animating the body and mind. Identify and stay in that, you will be happy, peaceful, tranquil, harmonious. And then operating on your body and mind, you can solve many other problems we create for ourselves, mainly the mind. All problems arise from that. So once you understand and explore the mind and the thinkings and the conditionings and the whatnot, then you can expand on those things and then learn how to deal with them with a cool, quiet interior. And that is very, very useful for anybody. So any other questions, Angela, or shall we close now?
No, you can close the room. I was just coming in because I seen you was over here with one person, and I know I was gonna start cooking, so I'm good. I would have just been listening.
Yeah.
But you can close.
Yeah, but there were people on the wisdom, there were people on the LinkedIn and all that. So LinkedIn, I have to.
Yeah, I can't see them over there. I just, when I'm going over in that room, I see them. Yeah. When I go live, I see them. But
like I said, I don't look for the quantity; I look for the quality.
So I'm just saying, I'm over here, so I can't see. I can't see what you see because I'm not on all the sites.
Yeah. That's what I do on the iPad.
Yeah, I'm in the room sometime by myself. Sometimes if I do the meditation room, when that might come in and I play my music, and that's the time to wind down. It doesn't matter if it's something that you love doing. You just go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's it. I'm happy to express myself, and then if they have a discussion, they can come and talk to me. Otherwise, that's up to them. Okay. Lots of times it is their own journey that they want to pursue. That's fine, So, and then if they want to find out what is that you are talking about, then we can talk about that too. Anyway, I will see you again tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We will come on time. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody on the Wisdom app and also on the other channels too.